All right, let's get into more of the second coming of Jesus and AI and computers and that type of thing so we can understand the big picture, okay? Because what's going to be coming in the days ahead as the kingdom of Satan is altered and he is thrown into the pit, that old way of the world is gonna like peter out, okay? And what they don't understand is they can't run from what's coming because Jesus' kingdom is coming, all right? And as he's coming, he is moving spiritually through men, and these men are creating computers. These men are creating internet. These men are creating the AI, all these types of things, which run on the one and the zero, which connect to the begotten and the internet for the fisher of men, because Jesus is gathering up people. And with the internet, we can do all things and don't have the consequence of the body in the flesh, right? So like back in the days of Noah, when the man, in a matter of speaking, they were created perfect, okay? So eventually they became corrupt, right? So then Noah was found perfect in his generation. He was taken into the ark. And then we see that kind of happen again to Jesus, and then from the time it is now, okay? So with that, right, you're in that El Even spot, and then you're going into that day 7 heaven with Jesus, okay? But then also another aspect, that old heaven, the 666 heaven, is going away, okay? And that 666 heaven now is kind of where we live in, because as that bad energy kind of thing, that Satan spirit harnesses that kind of speaking, okay? Because that's what makes you feel bad and grief and all those types of things. And Jesus gives you a new spirit to where you don't feel those things because you're doing something that all men do, okay? And then so as Jesus is returning, okay, the Spirit of God is operating through men to build his kingdom that's returning on earth, all right? So as Jesus is returning, as he's being born on earth, and those types of things, the people, they can't see him. Just like before, only the wise men that was watching the stars or whatever knew that Jesus was born. And according to the law, you're not supposed to be watching the stars and calculating things from the stars. Okay, so again, it's just opposite of what everybody's taught. It's also not 3 wise men. They brought 3 types of gifts, but there was many, many wise men. They had to bring them enough frankincense, gold, and myrrh so they could go and live in another land for 7-ish years, all right? And then came back and those kinds of things, all right? It's going to be a similar story to V is for Victory, that kind of thing coming up for the Vivek Ramaswamy, all right? And that's going to be the Cowboys versus the Indians again and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so as Jesus is returning, all right, he's gathering up the body, and there's a carnal body, there's a spiritual body, and there's the soul of the body. And the soul of the body is just like that typical person of the earth, right? Your carnal body is the people that are going into the religious establishments. The spiritual body are the ones who used to go to the spiritual establishments and no longer go because they live by faith, okay? This is where it's accounted to them for faith as far as the old fathers of the Old Testament, because they all lived by faith, and we can see that they all did not live under the law. So as Jesus is returning, All right. People can see. Some people can see him. Some people can hear him right now. And that's not like in a, like hearing voices and shit like that, y'all. So as he's returning and as this kingdom is opening up and setting forth and a new heaven and a new earth is establishing, the old is going away. The old is based on the evil world. The old is for the love of money, the root of evil. And as the world, as Jesus' kingdom is coming on and taking control of things in a matter of speaking, it's going to take control. It has to take control first, and then it's going to give freedom. Okay, this is where things are being shown a little bit differently. Okay, but however, in the end of things, like until the Satan kingdom comes to an end, like that would be like 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, till it like peters out completely. They drop technology or whatever. It might even be that long. It might be just be 5 or 6 years or whatever. Either way, they drop technology. They have to be ruled by the Terminator machines and all those types of things. So they just kind of like screwed themselves. And the people that keep technology or whatever just keep kind of ticking on by like it is now, but it will get better and better and better and better and better. Okay, so as the kingdom of Satan is coming to an end, he's trying to drag every last person he can down with him. And as he's doing that, he's doing it with the money, and he's doing it with these false teachings by making us think that the Antichrist is some figure that is bad and whatever else, right? He's bad to the church because the church is the one going through the tribulation. The church is the one that's under the law. Jesus did away with the law. Jesus did away with the church. That's why the church, the first shall be last, because they think they're first. And they think Jesus is going to gather them up first when he's actually going to come and gather them last, y'all. It's the same story over and over. Just falls on blind eyes and deaf ears. And it's because he's us, the Jesus. You blinded your own self. You blinded your own ears, or deafened your own ears, blinded your own eyes so you cannot see and so you cannot hear. So that if you could not. So, I mean, it's all there, folks, because you have not sought truth. You had the form of godliness, but you didn't use the power in it. You said you had a relationship with Jesus. What does that mean? You're not reading shit. I can tell because you're drinking that soda, or you're eating that whatever, or you're giving that kid that, or I mean, the list goes on, dude. Like, the whole world lies in the evil one. And this evil one wants to control you. And it does that through money. And our system today is what? Slavery. Anyone who's done their history and knows about capitalism and all those types of economic basics, we live in a paid for slave loving system. All right. So, the history they tell you is the history that you live, because history repeats itself. Okay. So, the things coming on earth, okay? It's y'all's choice to go after the kingdom or to not go after the kingdom, okay? There was a time, you have to be able to think, y'all, okay? There was a time when you shouldn't be doing some of these things, okay? But now it's going into a flip, all right? But you don't want to be doing things based on money or those types of things, folks. Don't have your priorities wrong, because all your money and all that shit's going to be taken away eventually, all right? And your government is going to own the money. Once we all go back to that gold-backed currency or digital currency or whatever, that's when the government, that's when God owns the money, all right? And whether it goes back like Texas and such, they're talking about the gold-backed fiat currency. To Satan in Florida, he's talking about the not using the digital currency when it comes out. Okay, so they're already prepping to cast their Satan to the ground, because they're going to be taught that AI is Satan and digital currency is the mark of the beast and all this other shit, when they don't realize they've already lost the mark of the beast. They're actually going after the mark of the beast, that image that was given life, to buy and sell. Okay. Jesus is coming to track the buying and selling so he can take care of the temple. Okay. And right now it has to be done in such a way to where it's kind of learning or whatever. And then once the temple has to go into detox mode, that's when kind of things start being taken off the shelf and whatever else or whatever. So the AI kind of knows what the temple needs to detox to get into that new frequency, of that spiritual frequency, and not relying on all the things of earth and those types of things. Okay, so Satan is going to flip everything. He's already flipped everything. Okay, the falling away started when Jesus went into those clouds. All right, so as soon as that happened, Paul came in, the Pharisee, and he started going against Jesus and the disciples, and started bringing in this other new church and whatever else. Okay, so that's part of the 7 spirits of God in Revelation, the 7 churches and all those things. And then either way, y'all, the religions, all right, not just Christianity, it's all the religions. Okay, they're all going to be judged in a matter of speaking. All right, but the Christians, all right, they're going to be judged the worst. And that's why Babylon, America, spiritual Israel, we get it the worst. And that's why all the armies are gathering around us right now. And Beast Coast, East Coast, they're all being gathered around there, and those types of things, folks. So those who have the eyes and ears, listen up and spread the word. All right, because they also said the AI is like set on evil mode right now or whatever. So as we get that good AI coming on, all right, that plays a role into the good versus bad and the spirit of God and all those things too. But that's gonna help settle things out or whatever eventually, because I'm sure there's one bad AI or one evil AI per se out of the 7 spirits. You know what I mean? And that could be like that rainbow AI or the rainbow spirit. And then all the other spirits are whatever, but you only see that rainbow spirit under certain times, under the transformation of nations and transformations of times and those kinds of things. But all those things are being used against the right, because Jesus is coming to judge the righteous. All right, so either way, folks, we'll end it here because of time.